Hello and welcome to the Nail in the Coffin Podcast. My name is Drayson Ball. With me, as always, Scotty Beckstrom.
Break out the brooms, Dre. Break out the brooms.
I hate to say it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe not tonight, but who knows? We'll see, I guess. But glad to have you in. We're glad you joined us. We got a great show for you today. We're right in the midst of the NBA Finals. We got Game 4 tonight, which is Friday. We're excited, and we got a great show for you today. We're excited to bring it to you. Got a lot of stats packed full of a show packed full of stats. And we got a good show for you today. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the NBA Finals. Going to be talking a little bit about what happens if the Warriors win, what happens if the Cavaliers somehow make some sort of a miraculous comeback. Going to be talking a little bit about legacy for both the Golden State Warriors and for LeBron James if he does lose this Finals, which would be his fifth loss in the Finals. And then, as always, we're going to finish up our show tonight with the Get Cremated segment, which we're excited to bring to you today as well. We got some great choices for you. So we're glad to have you in. Scotty, let's start with the NBA Finals. Let's get right into it. Talk to me a little bit about what you think about the NBA Finals so far, and especially going into tonight. What's your pick for Game 4?
Man, I didn't. I wanted the Warriors to win. I predicted the Warriors win, but I didn't think we were going to be on the brink of a potential sweep. That has actually really kind of caught me off guard. Like I said, I've really been rooting for the Warriors to win this one. We've gone back and forth a million times, but we're on the verge of what could be a sweep and a 16-0 postseason run, and that is incredible to me.
Yeah, I mean, when they started talking about going 16-0 in the playoffs, right around after they had kind of swept the Jazz in the second round and were getting close to sweeping the Spurs in the third round, they started talking about going 16-0 and sweeping all the way through, and I thought, this is ludicrous. I mean, the West, they didn't face too much competition, especially after Kawhi got injured. But then, they're going to face the Cavs in the finals, and I thought the Cavs would at least win one game. We'll see what happens tonight, obviously. But 16-0 is ludicrous. They've only lost one game in their last 28. One game since insane. March.
That is insane. And what's crazy about all of this is it's not like LeBron's played bad. He's averaged a triple-double, and the Warriors are still doing what they're doing. And that is incredible to me, that they're able to still win when they have 20 turnovers a night. LeBron is playing incredible, having a triple-double, and they're still getting it done and on the road.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, LeBron has played his best basketball probably this postseason. This year has been his best statistical year.
And it still hasn't been good enough. That's mind-boggling.
And just because the Warriors are just so stacked.
Exactly.
They're so stacked. We got some stats for you for LeBron. Let me go over his stats for you. The reason why I'm doing this is just because the other night during Game 2, Kyrie kind of got going there in the third quarter, and he had 16 points, and Twitter just was going nuts about Kyrie's carrying LeBron again, and it drives me nuts. And we have a little statistical analysis we're gonna have on screen for you right now of kind of where LeBron sits as far as points added versus defensive points saved. And you'll see that it's quite drastic about what he's added to the team.
Exactly.
And here are his stats for the final. So he's averaging 32 points per game, 9.3 assists per game, 12 rebounds. He's shooting 55% from the field, and oh, by the way, he's shooting 39% from three-point range, which is excellent numbers. And he's carried this team. The bench has done absolutely nothing. Like, other than Kyle Korver had 9 points in Game 3, no one else has done anything. Darren Williams has been terrible.
Oh, gosh.
Kyle Korver has been off, except for Game 3. He had a couple of shots and had that dunk. But other than that, he's gotten no help except for Kyrie Irving in Game 3.
And Kyrie had a great Game 3. And LeBron, of course, has just been solid all three games. But it's crazy to me that the Warriors are still able to get this done. Because it's LeBron James we're talking about. It's LeBron James. And still the Warriors are able to win this. And Kyrie did have that one good game. But other than that, it's pretty much been LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, remember 2 or 3 years ago when LeBron came back to Cleveland and they got Love and they had Kyrie, and we were all saying, this is how unfair is this? They got the big three, and we trashed LeBron for coming back and forming another big three after he did it in Miami, and now the Warriors have a big four and potentially 4 Hall of Famers. I mean, I don't see, unless some barring injury or something like that, I don't see any reason why those 4 wouldn't be Hall of Famers at the end of their careers. This is the best team we've ever seen, and it's not even close. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I thought this series would be a little bit more competitive, especially because Cleveland has kind of had their number over the past 7 or 8 games.
Oh, they have.
Dating back to
They've gotten into their heads.
Yeah, dating back to the last 3-1 last season, the 3-1 comeback. That's kind of what I thought would be going into it. They would kind of have their number. but it's obviously been just too much for the Cavs to handle for the Cavs.
And Dre's a big LeBron supporter and Cavs fan. How are you taking this? How are you taking
It's
this?
tough.
This is really tough.
It's kind of tough. It's kind of okay because it's like that the best team won.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, especially when Cleveland and Golden State won the first time, it was kind of harder for me because I didn't feel like the best team won. The Cavaliers were injured, Kyrie and Love, and I think
wasn't all the way fair.
And I think the Warriors kind of ran into a little bit easier path in 2014-2015 season in that finals. Last year, it was kind of a toss-up. I don't know. It was kind of a toss-up, but I do think this year the better team is going to win, and the Warriors are gonna probably win tonight, and maybe they'll win in 5 at the very least. But like I said, I don't know. It's kind of okay for me to be like, the best team won.
I honestly think on the last show, and we talked about kind of our 3 reasons why each team would win.
Yeah.
I really think there was a lot of motivation for the Warriors.
Yeah.
I think that 3-1 has been haunting them all year, and then now we're finally seeing it in the finals where the whole 3-1 thing is really pushing them and really making them work hard. And that's where I think a lot of this Warriors success has been. They could have easily thrown in the towel in that game 3 when they started getting down about 8 and Cleveland was making a run. But they fought back, and KD had that dagger.
Yeah.
That was a shot with 45 seconds left.
And we talked about those top 3. Your biggest reason was Kevin Durant's will, and I kind of laughed at it.
Yeah,
at the
you
time,
did. You did laugh.
Yeah, because
you mocked me for it. And what's happened to it? What's happened so far? Durant's had 38, 33, and 31.
I have to admit, you're right.
With the dagger.
You're right, and he had the dagger in Game 3. You're absolutely right. And my 3 predictions were... 2 of them were not correct.
The Cavs bench, terrible.
The Cavs bench and the physicality. Cleveland has been outworked physically. Their bench has been terrible. LeBron James is the only reason why they're even close to this series.
Exactly.
And a 3-0 series that's not as very close as you can get. But it's just tough because the Warriors are just so loaded.
So one thing in this finals that's kind of bugged me has been the reffing. Now and everyone else can go all day long about refereeing and this, but I hate, and this has been both for the Warriors and the Cavs, where they're getting fouled about half court and they just go like that and they'll call a foul. What's been your thought? That annoys me.
I hate that call. We saw it a lot with Chris Paul in the Utah Jazz series.
Yeah.
We see it every team does it.
But lately it's been such a thing.
It's been so crazy. Like I think it's hard to judge intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when Steph Curry's dribbling up the court and he's a half court, he's not going to shoot that shot. I mean, he can make it,
He shoots deep, but he doesn't shoot from half court.
But come on, that's not a regular shot that he's going to take. And I don't know how we reward that or how the NBA would deal with an issue like that. Technically it is a foul, but I can't.
The shooting,
the shooting motion.
The NBA's got to go back in the offseason and make some clarification because it's not fair to And like I said, I'm supporting the Warriors. I want the Warriors to crush the Cavs because I'm sick of listening to Dre about LeBron. But it is unfair when you foul Curry and he gets hit and then he just goes like that and they call a shooting foul and then that's 3 free throws. I mean, I don't know what his stats were exactly, but he was like 11 for 11 the other night in free throws. And that's not fair. Just you get hit and you go like that and you give him 3 shots.
Yeah, I mean it's a I've always said the reffing doesn't decide games, right? But things like that kind of influence the game a little bit because that's 3 points or 2 points or whatever that normally shouldn't have been there. That if you win by 2 or 3, like we saw Cleveland or Golden State won by 5 the other day, that's a kind of a number where the meter can change a little bit based on one of those borderline calls for a foul, especially going up for a 3.
And luckily the first 2 games were kind of blowouts. Game 3 is a little closer, but in a really close game, Kyrie or Curry getting hit and then just throwing it up could really decide a game.
Yeah, it really
so hopefully that's not going to be a deciding factor in a game, but that's just something to watch out. It's really been annoying me.
Yeah, it really does. And here's one thing. Here's one of my hot takes that I want to get on right now. Last year, do you remember? You might not remember this, but last year, after Game 5, right? So Draymond was got the technical foul in Game 4. He was suspended for Game 5, right?
And that was in the Oracle, right?
That was in Oracle, right? So because he had accumulated, so whatever the limit is, 16 technical fouls or whatever throughout the year. So then he got his 17th or whatever the number is in Game 4. So he was suspended for Game 5. Cavs won Game 5, and then Curry got ejected in Game 6
for throwing
like
the mouthpiece.
4.5 minutes left to go, which was still a kind of a close game. So after Game 6, or after Game 5 maybe, especially after Game 6, Ayesha Curry, Steph Curry's wife, tweeted out and said the NBA is rigged. And everybody was saying the NBA is rigged. everybody on Twitter, everybody on whatever social media, all the LeBron haters were saying the NBA is rigged to favor the Cavaliers. And where are these people saying that the NBA is rigged this year?
Yes.
Where are they? I mean, come on now. If you're going to say it's rigged, it's got to be rigged every year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's not rigged. It wasn't rigged last year. I don't understand what's going on. Where are all these people that say that it's rigged? Come on, Aisha Curry. Is it rigged this year for your husband? Come on now. Like, you got to be consistent. There's no way the NBA, it's not even possible to rig a game. Look at Game 7 last year, right? 89-89 with 3.5 minutes to go. There's nothing you could have asked for in the NBA for a better final to a Game 7. There's no refereeing that could have influenced that. I mean, the coaches were playing apparently the right players, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they seem to be playing the right players. And the coaches, don't affect if the shot goes in. The referees certainly don't affect if a shot goes in. And 89-89, 3.5 minutes left to go in Game 7 last year, Cavaliers scored 4 points and the Warriors didn't. That's not rigged. But why isn't it rigged this year if it was rigged last year? That's the thing. That's my hot take, and it drives me nuts. And the only reason people say that it's rigged last year is because they hate to see LeBron have success.
Get another one.
That's the only reason. But now that it's Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and the kind of charmful finesse guys, it's okay.
Oh man, now you're gonna get me started on a hot take. I mean, I agree with your points. You're right with the rigged things. I'm glad Curry has kept his mouthpiece in his mouth this year instead of throwing it at a fan. But one thing that has bugged me, and I got to get it off my chest, is how everyone, and you can comment if you disagree. I've had actually a lot of people I've talked to get mad at me for this and say I'm wrong, whatever. In my opinion, LeBron created 2 super teams, one with the Heat and one with the Cavs. And then KD does this. KD kind of follows LeBron's path and goes, well, LeBron had the right idea, team up with superstars
let's start
and
with
win
this
it.
before you go on forward. LeBron didn't create this whole idea of a super team.
Well, it's been that thing, but
It
lately,
has been, but that's kind of been the perception that LeBron created the super team. Boston did it in the Big Three with Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. They did it first. I mean, come on now. Let's give credit where credit is due, and let's not blame LeBron for Kevin Durant.
well, there's always been the formula. I mean,
Right,
Jordan
okay.
played with Pippen, so
Rodman,
and he's
yeah.
an all-star, and Rodman was an all-star, so it's like,
Yeah.
if you really go deep, you want to give credit, it goes
Right,
back to then. And even you could even go Magic and Kareem. I mean, that's one of the greatest players if you really want to go there. Okay, but you got my point.
Anyway.
So LeBron's done this twice.
Okay.
And KD goes to the Warriors team. And although, they were 73-9, but he's just teaming up with other superstars like LeBron has.
Right.
And now everyone's saying the NBA's trash, is garbage. KD ruined it because the Warriors are just going to automatically win, blah, blah, blah. And that makes me so mad because it's like LeBron has done this twice. And I know he caught flack for Miami. He really did.
He definitely did.
But he's done this twice now, not just once, twice. And yet it's fine now. It's whatever because he went back to Cleveland. KD teams up with a super team just like it has been. That's been the kind of what's been going on in the NBA lately. And yet the NBA is ruined because of KD. That's garbage to me.
And
that is garbage.
And I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't agree that the NBA is trash. I think the NBA is in a great state right now, especially because we've now had a 3-way series like this, or a 3-time series like this ever. And I think that's great. I think that's interesting for the fans. And after Game 2, I don't know the numbers for Game 3. They're probably not quite in yet. But after Game 2, I know that the NBA Finals ratings were the best they've been for like 25 years. Or
that's
something
awesome.
Like that.
I like to see. I want to see the Cavs and the Warriors. That's what I want to see
That's
play.
what I want to see. I want to see the best 2 teams. No one will want to see Washington and Portland. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's great for the NBA. Going back to your point though, with the super teams, like, what are we going to see next? Are we going to see a Big 5? Like, is LeBron going to, call up Paul George and Gordon Hayward and Chris Paul? Maybe, I don't know. What are we going to see next? And I don't know what's going to happen for the NBA, but like I said, I think we're in a good spot, and I'm enjoying the NBA Finals. So let's finish off this segment with this, Scotty. Game 4 is tonight. First of all, who you got tonight? If you got the Warriors tonight, give me a one defining factor. If you don't have the Warriors tonight, where do you see the series going after this?
This is really hard because there's 2 really good factors going on for this game tonight. Is one, the Cavs, and specifically LeBron James, does not want to get swept. And we saw last year how LeBron's will kind of took over that series and the 3-1 happened because of LeBron's purely taking it into his hands, his will. And I know he does not want to get swept.
Right.
On the other hand, the Warriors are going to be motivated because
they're
want
out for blood.
Yeah, they're out for blood for revenge from last year. They want the 16-0. They want to sweep the Cavs.
They want to win in Cleveland.
They want to win in Cleveland. There's kind of two really big really two motivating right now. If I had to put money on it, if I had to say it, I would say the Cavs get it tonight barely.
Way. Wow.
But because simply LeBron James
does not want to be swept.
However, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close no matter who wins.
Yeah.
Because of those two deciding factors. But I think Cleveland, even though the air was taken out of Cleveland, when KD, you heard the announcers.
Yeah.
They said the air was taken out of that arena when KD hit that shot, but I still think LeBron's will is going to come on this one. He doesn't want to be swept.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope so. I mean, for me, I would love nothing more than the Cavs to come back 3-0, only just because of the memes. Like, can you just imagine how Twitter would go if the Cavs came back from 3-0 and 3-1 after
And it's not like it's impossible. I'm not going to say the Warriors, of course they're up 3-0, and we all think they're going to win. I'm not going to definitely say anything because of 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could happen. Like, if you're the Cavs, you got to think of it like this: you got to win tonight for sure. Obviously, I mean, you got to win every game, but you got to win tonight. You get a Game 5 in Cleveland. You know, you never know what can happen. If you win Game 5, you come back for Game 6, and you can win at home.
Well, Game 5's in Oakland.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you win in Game 5 in Oakland,
you
know, then you come back for Game 6 in Cleveland, and you know you can force a Game 7, and you're right back where you started last year. You know, so you got to give yourself a chance. As much as I would like to see Cleveland win, I'm kind of off my rocker here. I got to go with the Warriors. As bad as it seems, and I know I'm sorry.
We've totally flip-flopped from last show.
I understand. I'm sorry. I'm rooting for Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for Cleveland to win.
I'm rooting for the Warriors.
But my heart says I got to go with the Warriors. I just think they're out for blood, and they're just going to have a different mindset and a different motivation tonight. And I think they're going to come out and win. If the Cavs want to win, though, however, they have to have LeBron's got to be LeBron, like he has been the whole series. Kyrie has to be Kyrie, like he was in Game 3, not in Game 1. And they have to have Kevin Love be
He's got to start hitting shots.
He's got to start hitting shots. Tristan Thompson's got to be more influential down low, and the Cavs got to take care of the ball and not have a better bench production. Darren Williams and Kyle Korver, they have to be better.
And they got to go for the kill. That's the thing with the Cavs. The Cavs kind of let the Warriors get back into that. And maybe you can answer this for me is LeBron. I know they're trying to be, kind of watch his minutes. Right. But he's played the most minutes the whole season. Yeah. So it's like, why not just play him as much as you can and get the kill?
The thing is he cannot come out of the game ever.
Exactly.
When he's out of the game, they were minus 12 in Game 3. He cannot come off the floor.
Why are you watching the minutes when he's already played the most minutes the whole entire season? It doesn't make sense. And you're right. As soon as he comes out, that's when the Warriors start making the runs.
Yep, and it's tough. Like I said, maybe LeBron just needs more help. I don't know. It's clear who has the better talent in this series. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah. Leave your comments down below if you think the Warriors will close it out tonight, or if you think Cavaliers will force a Game 5 in Oracle.
One last question for you: who's the Finals MVP if the Warriors win tonight?
Kevin Durant.
Just wanted to hear you say it.
Kevin Durant for sure. I mean,
KD's
baby. He's been the best player for the Warriors.
KD's will. It's not Zaza. Zaza's not MVP.
Zaza has he scored a point? I mean, I don't know.
Zaza's terrible.
Anyway, Game 4 tonight. Cleveland versus Golden State. We'll see if the Warriors can close out the NBA Finals. All right, Scotty. Let's transition into this now. We want to talk a little bit about kind of what this means for the Warriors, kind of what this means for the Cavaliers, or I guess more LeBron. So if the Warriors win, Scotty, are they the greatest team ever? And what do you see happening if they win tonight, or if they win 5 or 6 or whatever? Is this the greatest team ever? Let's compare them to, say, the 95-96 Bulls and that kind of dynasty there. That three-peat for them, for the Bulls, their second three-peat.
So this has been a huge topic of conversation, rightfully so. Right. I mean, you got 4 could-be Hall of Famers. You got 2 MVPs, rightfully so. A 16-0 postseason, of course. I kind of discredit that a little bit because if Kawhi didn't get hurt, the Spurs probably would have won that game, and
at least Game 1.
The Warriors probably would have gone 16-1, or whatever. But anyway, my thing on this is it's really hard to compare eras, and this is one of my big things on the MJ versus LeBron debate is they played in 2 separate eras, so it's really hard to definitively say
Jordan
which
played
one
in the
is
hand
which.
check league, and
exactly.
LeBron hasn't,
But that being said, in my opinion, it's really, really hard to say that there's a better team than this Warriors team. You got the Bulls, you got the Shaq and Kobe teams, you got the Magic and Kareem teams. Those are awesome, awesome teams. But my thing for that is when you start comparing these eras, take the records aside and the field goal percentage and blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. If you put the Warriors in a 7-game series with those 96 Bulls or the Magic and Kareem Lakers, the Warriors wouldn't have an answer for Kareem. No doubt about it. No answer for the Big Low. But how are they going to answer for Curry and Durant and Clay shooting the threes? And this is one big thing for me. Draymond Green plays physical. Yeah. You put Draymond Green against a 90s or 80s team where they play physical, he's going to be outstanding.
Yeah, he can
handle that physicality. So when people kind of go, oh, no way, in the hand check, there's no way the Warriors would get a shot off because the defense was way too good back in my day in the 80s and 90s. Hello, Draymond Green's one of the most physical defensive players.
So is Klay Thompson. Now this series we've seen he's been one of the more physical players.
I think Draymond would thrive in the 80s or 90s defense because he's a tough guy and he plays tough D. Yeah. So there's that answer for you.
Yeah, I agree.
And how are you going to guard the 3-point on the Warriors?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean they're just. I agree. I think the Warriors are the best team ever. I think especially this 3-year kind of stretch that we've seen from the Warriors is better than any 3-year stretch by any team.
It's got to be.
In any era.
It's got to be.
And I got some numbers to back that up. I just compared them with the 95, 96 Bulls. Those Bulls from the 95 to the 98 season when they won their three-peat, and the Warriors from 2014 to 2017 season when they're three-peat, not really a three-peat because the Cavs won last year.
And y'all got to listen to this because Dre's one of the biggest Warriors haters, and now here he is defending the greatest of all time. So this is serious here.
I'm not a Warriors hater. I mean, I guess maybe you call me a Warriors hater, but I like greatness. I love greatness, and I love to see history, and I think that we're seeing it right now with the Warriors. So let me just kind of give you some numbers here. So we're talking about the 2014 Warriors, 2014 to 2017 Warriors, and the 95 to 98 Bulls, right? So for the Warriors, over that 3-year span, they're 207-39. So they've won 207 games.
They've only lost 39 games in 3 years.
3 years.
They've lost 3, and that includes playoffs and everything? Or is that just regular season?
It's just regular season.
39 losses in 3 years.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
So they're averaging 113 points per game over that stretch. Right? They're averaging 49% from the field, which is incredible as a team.
49% in 3 years?
And 40% from 3.
Oh, my goodness.
40% from 3. Now, keep in mind, back in the 95, 96, I believe it was 95, 96, and 96, 97 season, I believe those 2 years, the NBA moved the three-point line in a foot. So just take that into account. If the Warriors were playing on a court that had a three-point line that was in a foot, they would score even more points, more threes, right? So it'd be just as easy for them, or even easier. So now let's go to the 95 to 98 Bulls, right? So over the 3-year, their three-peat, right? They were 203-43, right? So a few less wins, kind of comparable there. But again, the Warriors won more games. Bulls only scored 102 points per game, 47% from the field and 37% from the three-point line. In an era where the three-point line was a foot closer, so they're shooting 3 percentage points difference from three-point line and 2 percentage points difference from the field. Those numbers are, if they're not evident enough, let's go to their best season. I mean, I just went from the 95-96 Bulls to the 16-17 Warriors, right? I went with those numbers. So for the 95-96 Bulls, their regular season record was 72-10. That's the year they set the record at the time. 105 points per game for that season, 48% from the field and 40% from the three-point range.
Pretty good.
Not too bad. Pretty good season. I mean, it was a record-setting season. Now, the Warriors this year were 67-15 for the season and 116 points per game.
Oh, my.
116 points per game.
It's 11 more points.
Just under 50% from the field and just under 39% from the three-point line. So all across the board, we see that the Warriors are the better team. And like I said, it's hard to compare eras, and I get it. And and the thing with us is we're young enough that we don't really remember watching the Bulls and stuff like that. So that's one knock on us, I guess, and our credibility. And it's kind of hard for us to be able to say which team is better, especially when we've only been watching the NBA for 15, 20 years or whatever it's been. But again, I can't disagree with the numbers, and I think the Warriors are the best team we've ever seen. And not only that, not only the numbers, the eye tests. They're the best team we've ever seen. You just have to look at them. They are the best team I've ever seen.
It's unreal to me. I mean, the cool thing about the Warriors is they were really the first team to win with their primary offense being the 3-point or the jump shot.
Right.
That was instead of getting to the hole and getting to the rim and shooting free throws and being physical.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first team to kind of go, Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr both, because they're both the coach, did a great job of, okay, this is my team's strength. We can shoot the ball. We can shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it done. And they kind of changed that, and it's unreal. They are so good. And here's another big thing is I don't think LeBron James is the greatest of all time. I think he's the second. I think it's pretty close, but I think he's the second. If the Warriors potentially sweep the greatest of all time in 4 games, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is an unreal set. If they can sweep, the so-called greatest of all, even the second greatest of all time, with 2 other All-Stars on a team while LeBron's averaging a triple-double, that is an impressive stat right there.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is with the Bulls is, here's my thing with the Bulls, is they never faced a great team in the finals. They played the Jazz, which...
That was a pretty good team. You got Stockton Malone.
But they never won a title together. They played the Rockets, or they played, the Charles Barkley and the Suns one year, and I just don't think they played Seattle Supersonics, I think 2 years. They never played a great team in the finals, and they kind of really got lucky because Jordan was hitting his prime as, the bad boy Pistons, were exiting. Shaq had just left the Magic, which the Magic destroyed Michael Jordan in his first year back in '94. And then Shaq left to the Lakers, and that kind of gave him an easier path in the East. And a lot of pieces fell into place for Michael Jordan and the Bulls. And the thing is with the Warriors is they've kind of built this team, with the exception of Kevin Durant, mostly through the draft. I mean, obviously they have Iguodala and a couple of those different free agents that aren't, I wouldn't consider them but
they drafted agents. Clay, they drafted Draymond, they drafted Steph.
And they just kind of got fortunate because either through good coaching or maybe just a good draft committee or whatever, being able to select guys that they think will develop into great players, they got really lucky, or they got really, fortunate that these players all developed, and then obviously adding Kevin Durant. But besides Kevin Durant, they were a great team last season and previous season.
They were 73-9 without Durant, and then you add Durant, a Hall of Famer, an MVP.
Yeah.
I just don't see how this Warriors would get beat in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
I mean, really the only thing I could see is a Kareem-led team, but still, you got Kareem, and that's it, because KD and Magic are going to kind of get their own, but how are you going to guard Steph and Clay in a series like that?
The Warriors wouldn't have an answer down low for Kareem, but I don't know if you keep it on.
Or Shaq, even Shaq in the Lakers team.
But I don't know if you could keep either Shaq or Kareem on the floor with the Warriors if they go small. If they have the big 4 and then say they put in like Andre Iguodala or Matt Barnes or Sean Livingston maybe, I don't think that you can keep Kareem or Shaq on the floor because they couldn't keep up.
Oh, man.
And the Warriors are just so fast and so good. I think the Warriors are the best team ever.
Kind of something cool that it's pretty cool that we get to sit here and watch the greatest team. I mean, I'm really jealous of my dad and my uncles and whoever who got to sit and watch those Magic and Kareem teams and those Jordan teams. I was really young when Shaq and Kobe were together. I remember them a little bit. That's a cool thing to sit here and get to tell our kids and whatnot. Like, yo, we watched the 16-17 Warriors with KD, and they were unreal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's fun to watch. As much as I hate to see my Cavaliers get destroyed by the Warriors, it is fun to watch. They're a great team. They're a fun team to watch.
They are a fun team.
And the cool thing about it is, or maybe the unfortunate thing for everyone else in the NBA, is that, as long as they sign Steph Curry and Kevin Durant this offseason, they're going to be together for at least 2019, 2018. So it's going to be a good couple of years.
Let us know what you think about the greatest team of all time. If you agree with those, if you disagree. We'd love to, of course, see a 7-game series. That will never happen, so break out the 2K. All right, Dre, this has been quite the finals.
Right.
But there's been a lot of talk about how this affects LeBron James, because he's looking at a potential sweep tonight. He's looking pretty much at a finals loss. It just drops him to 3-5. Currently he's 17-26 in finals games. If he loses tonight, he'll be 10 games below 500.
Yeah.
How does this affect LeBron James' legacy?
The short answer is it doesn't. If you don't, by this point in his career, if you don't think LeBron James is at least the second best player of all time, there's something wrong with you. I've defended LeBron James throughout his career in all aspects. When he went to the Heat, when he came back to the Cavs, when he lost to the Warriors, the first time they met, and I'll defend him after they get swept or lose in 5 or whatever happens in this series. LeBron James, if you don't think he's one of the greatest players, you're just a hater. And this doesn't affect his legacy. Jerry West, who is the logo, he lost like 5 times in the finals, and no one ever says, "Oh, the logo lost 5 times in the final." No one ever says that. I think it's kind of just become trendy, and it's a thing to hate on LeBron. And I get it. Like I understand. Like I hated Kobe. Like I hated Kobe Bryant because he was dominant and he was amazing and he would hit last second shots and he's got 5 titles and he would win and I hated him, but I respected his game and I thought I hate him so much, but he's still at least one of the top 10 greatest players of all time. And when he retired, I was like, this sucks. Like Kobe's retiring,
Yeah.
And his last game against Utah was maybe my favorite basketball game I've ever watched in my life.
Oh man.
It was so good, and even for someone I've hated for 15 years of his career, I respected him, and that last game of his career was amazing. And I was rooting for Kobe. I was rooting for Kobe to win and score 60 or whatever. And I think we'll do the same with the LeBron. I think we'll look back and we'll say, "God, you know what? LeBron was amazing." And especially when he announces his retirement, because I'm sure he'll have a farewell tour like some other people have done. I'm sure he'll do that. He kind of was one of likes the media attention. And I think we'll see that. Whenever he decides to retire, whether it be 3 or 4 or 5 years from now. But like I said, it won't affect his legacy because at the end of the day, he'll have gotten to at least 8 finals. He'll have 3 rings, and he's going to get to the finals for the foreseeable future. I don't think it affects his legacy at all.
So let me ask you this: Jordan, what was his record in the finals?
6 for 6.
He was 6-0.
Yeah, 6-0.
And LeBron drops to 3-5. Does that affect anything? A 6-0 versus 3-5?
I mean, the thing that the people who say that Jordan is better than Michael, the thing that they always go to is
Jordan better than LeBron.
Yeah, sorry, Jordan better than LeBron. Thanks for correcting me. The thing that people that say Jordan is better than LeBron, they always go to the 6 for 6, that he was perfect in the finals. He never lost in the finals. Like it's a great accomplishment, which it is significant. But like we mentioned earlier, he never really played a great team in the finals. And he really only got lucky because of the injuries, or not the injuries, the circumstances that happened in the Eastern Conference. But here's the thing, and this is one of the things that drives me nuts about people who say, well, he was 6 for 6. What you're basically saying is LeBron's gone to 8 finals, right?
It was 7 straight.
7 in a row, which has never been done before since like the 70, 1970 Bill Russells or whatever. 6 for 6 sounds great, but if you get to more finals, that should be looked at as a better accomplishment, even if you don't win. And the reason why he hasn't won, he ran into the Spurs twice, and he lost to the Spurs twice. They have one of the best head coaches of all time.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, franchise. Tony Parker.
As much as I hate the Spurs, great franchise.
A dominant dynasty, a dominant franchise for more than a decade. For almost 2 decades now, they've been a dominant franchise. He ran into the Warriors twice, which, as we just discussed earlier, they're the greatest team ever. That's 4 of his losses. Yeah. Ran into all-time great, dominant dynasties. And then he lost to that 2011 series to the Mavericks. That's his one knock.
That's the one that I'm like, what? How?
He kind of disappeared in that. That's his one knock. Other than that, you look at, if you lost to 4 times and you lost to 4 of the greatest teams possibly ever, that you shouldn't be faulted for that, especially if you get to more. Like, it seems like it's some great thing to get to 6 finals and win all 6 of them. What you're basically saying is it was better for Jordan to lose earlier in the playoffs than get to the finals and lose in the finals. Like, he couldn't get out of the first round for the first 3 or 4 years of his career. And then once he did get out of the first round, he couldn't get to the finals for a couple years after he finally got out of the first round. And so we're basically saying it was better for Michael Jordan's career and his legacy to lose in the first round of the playoffs than get to the playoffs or the finals and lose. Like, I don't understand why we think that this is such a great thing. Like, oh, he was perfect in the finals, where LeBron's gotten to 8 and he's going to get to 9, 10, 11, or 12. If LeBron gets to 12 finals, if he goes to 4 more, which is possible, by the way, the East is trash.
Yeah.
If he gets to 12 finals, and say he wins 2 more, say he's 5-12 in the finals, how can you argue that 5 for 12 is better than 6 for 6? He's gotten there 12 times.
That'd be twice as much as Jordan.
Yeah, like, I don't understand how people can say it's better for Jordan's career to have lost earlier in the playoffs.
And my take on this, and I don't know if many people know, but I do like LeBron a lot. I just hate some of his fans, how I feel like they're they're blinded a lot. So I hate really going and kind of being positive on LeBron for anything. But kind of with you, Dre, I agree. I don't think this affects his legacy at all, especially if the Warriors, whether you agree with us or not, the last segment we just said they're the greatest team of all time. They're at least top 5. This is one of the greatest teams of all time, and I don't think there's any shame in losing in it. I don't think there's any shame at all in that. And I kind of agree with he's been to 7 straight finals. Whether he's won how many or not, that's a really impressive stat. And going back to last year, the 3-1 comeback, that was huge.
I think after after he came back from 3-1, I think that kind of cemented his legacy. From what he does now on, I don't think it will be judged as harshly as it would have been had he lost that 3-1. Like I said, the Warriors, based on what they do, maybe they make some moves in the offseason, maybe they don't. Maybe they sign Kevin Durant, maybe they don't. Who knows? We'll see. But unless the Celtics make some drastic moves, the Cavaliers are probably going to get back to the finals, if not next year, for the next 2 or 3 years. And I think winning more games and advancing more in the finals is advancing more in the playoffs is a more notable stat than getting to the finals and losing to the all-time greatest team.
Yeah.
So I don't think this affects his legacy. And like I said, I'm LeBron's biggest fan.
Easily.
He would
marry LeBron if he wasn't married already.
I've always said, and you've heard me say this before. We glorify the past, we romanticize the past, and we take for granted the present, right? And I don't want to take LeBron's career for granted. I want to be able to say that I watched LeBron's career and I watched him play basketball and I watched him. I want to say that I watched all of his games or whatever, and I want to be able to have that to tell my kids and my posterity and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want to look back in 10 years after he's been retired and say, "God, he was amazing. We've never seen anything like it before." And I don't want to take that for granted. And like I said, that's one of my biggest reasons for why I think LeBron's the greatest player ever.
Yeah, I guess when it really comes down to it is we don't feel like LeBron should be penalized for losing to one of the greatest teams of all time, especially after he's been to the finals for 7 straight years. If you do think this is a knock on his legacy, something's wrong with you. I don't see. But with that being said, Dre, what do you think about the offseason for LeBron and the Cavaliers? What do you think they're going to do? What should he do? Because we know he's a really good competitor, and he's going to want to beat the Warriors.
Right.
What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to go somewhere else? Is he going to try to bring people in, trade Kevin Love?
He's still got a year on his contract, so he can't leave anywhere. We'll see. I mean, maybe he'll decide to, kind of just keep what he has now, and with the intention of he's going to leave in 2018. Maybe he goes out west. Maybe he joins the Lakers. Say the Lakers.
That'd be sweet.
Say the Lakers get Lonzo Ball and Paul George. They've got Brandon Russell. He'll be developed another year. Say he just I'm out for the Lakers.
Do you think he'd go to the West, though, with the Warriors and the Spurs being there?
Here's my reason why he would go to the West. If he can get past the Warriors in, say, the second round, then he can walk through into the finals and win the finals because the East is trash. So that would be my reasoning why he would leave. I don't know that he would leave Cleveland again. If I don't know, maybe he's decided that he's going to give one more year and maybe reamp and maybe try to get like a Gordon Hayward or a Paul George or a Jimmy Butler, or maybe just try to reamp again and get some depth. Maybe he'll go again, and then we'll see what happens in the 2018 offseason. But I kind of think they're going to try to reamp and go back at the Warriors, and we'll see how it goes.
How realistic is it that the Cavs, after this offseason, assuming they're going to lose to the Warriors, try to get a Paul George or a Gordon Hayward or someone? How realistic that is, creating another huge super team of 4 or 5 All-Stars?
How realistic is it? Well, I mean, it all comes down to the numbers, right? So, I mean, they've got Kevin Love on the hook for $20 million, I believe, next season. He would be a great trade asset if they were to trade him to Indiana.
Would they give him up,
for
though?
Paul George? I don't know. I think maybe they would. I don't know. He's been pretty good this series and throughout the finals. So I don't know. Maybe they would give him up. I just think his contract is easier to move.
Yeah.
I think they could trade him and maybe get a Paul George, and Gordon Hayward might want to go play with LeBron. I mean, that's never been in the rumor mill. We always heard that he wants to play with Boston or might want to play with Boston or whatever. But if LeBron was smart, he might call up Gordon Hayward and say, "Look, can go to Boston. You can lose to me in the Eastern Conference Finals every year.
It's true though.
Or you can come and join me, and we'll be great. We
can contest with the Warriors.
Exactly. And if I was Gordon Hayward, I would want to go play with LeBron. Like, why wouldn't you want to go play with LeBron, even if you had to take $2, $3, $4, $5 million less?
And not even Gordon Hayward, even Paul George. You could even swap that scenario as well.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you could do that as well. But I think it's going to take more than just one player. If they trade Kevin Love, it'll take 2 or 3. They've got to solidify their bench, and like I said, they've got to do something to get past the Warriors.
I don't know about trading Kevin Love. I mean, it makes like financial sense, but you need Tristan Thompson hasn't done garbage in this finals, and Kevin Love, although he hasn't scored a lot, he's at least been a presence.
He's been a defensive
presence. And they kind of need that big man presence. Mm-hmm. So I could see them maybe going out and getting a Paul George, and he's LeBron, best recruiter in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten 2 super teams together. I mean, he could easily call up Paul George, just like what you're saying with Gordon Hayward.
And I have thought, this is something that I've thought, and I don't know how realistic it is. You know that LeBron said that he's always wanted to play with Carmelo Anthony, and he's always wanted to play with Chris Paul.
Ooh.
Well, guess who's a free agent?
Chris Paul and Melo.
And guess who wants to get out of New York?
Carmelo.
Ooh. So I'm just saying, like, if you trade Kevin Love to, say, New York for Carmelo Anthony, you pick up Chris Paul.
He's a little washed up, but Chris Paul would be a good pickup.
Chris Paul would be a good pickup, but still, Carmelo Anthony still can knock down shots, and that's what you need to beat the Warriors. You need volume shooters and people who can knock down shots.
He's a good shooter.
So if you start Paul at the 1, Irving at the 2, LeBron at the 3 or the 4, and Melo at the 3 or the 4, you can swap those 2 however you want. Probably LeBron at the 4, and then Tristan Thompson maybe at the 5, and then you have, say, a J.R. Smith and an Iman Shumpert coming off the bench. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good, that's a scenario that I think could be realistic. Granted that they get rid of Love's contract, which is about $20 million, and they can sign Chris Paul and Melo for, they get them for a little bit cheaper than they might normally if they want to, try to have a chance of competing against the Warriors.
Ooh, that would be a pretty good plan.
So there's my interesting scenario. We'll see how it happens. Yeah. Like I said, I think it's realistic, and maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But I'm excited to see what happens in the offseason, especially with the NBA draft coming up. Let us know what you think about LeBron's legacy. Does this taint his legacy? Does this not have any effect on his legacy? Let us know down in the comments. And you've heard our opinion here first. So
there it is.
All right, let's move on to our final segment.
The one y'all have been waiting for.
It's our Get Cremated segment. This is the one we've been doing since last week, and we love this segment. This is our favorite segment, and I'm really excited about my pick, and I'm sure you're really excited about your pick. So why don't we let you go first this time, and we'll see who you want to get cremated this week.
All right. Now we live in Utah, so this is a little bit of an interesting kind of a hard pick for me, but I was never really a Jazz fan, so I guess I don't mind it too much. Deron Williams.
Oh.
Get cremated, bud. Listen here. Man, you were awesome with the Jazz. You averaged a double digits, or you averaged a double, for 3 years in a row when you were playing in Utah. And now you signed with the Cavs and I understand it's the end of your career, but bro, you are 0 for 11 in the finals. 0 for 11 on shots. You were a 47% field goal shooter. Your best year, you're 47%, and you're 0 for 11. And not only that, is just terrible. Your shots are terrible. You're hitting the front of the rim. You've airballed twice. You and I have the same amount of points in an NBA Finals. And listen, you're a lot better than I am. And here's my beef with you, Deron Williams. Here's my beef. You're wearing jersey number 31. And the rumor of that is the whole 3-1 thing. Is you wore that number because you guys are trying to mock the Warriors for the 3-1 loss last year. Just as at the Cavs Halloween party, they had the band called 3-1 lead and all this stuff. You're wearing a 3-1 jersey. You used to be so good, and you're terrible. You're making all the old YMCA guys want to put on the Reeboks again and go try playing pickup ball and make it to the NBA. Deron Williams, sit down. You're out of shape. You're terrible. You're mocking the Warriors, and you're getting killed. You're 0 for 11. Get cremated, bud.
Wow, that was harsh. That was harsh. He has played terrible, and I hate to say
horrible.
it because I was
bricks every shot.
I was a big Jazz fan. So
airball city, man. Come on, Deron Williams.
That's tough. So I got one, and you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. And before I go into it, I like this player. I like to watch him play. I really, really like him. I think he's great for the NBA. But Steph Curry.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you saw this video. I saw it this morning.
Gosh.
After Kevin Durant hit the dagger 3, did you see what Steph Curry did?
What'd he do?
He did some sort of little crouch, squat, bend down thing.
So you're going to burn him for dancing.
I'm going to burn him for being the cockiest player in the NBA.
Oh, my God.
Now, the other day during Game 3, Scotty and I had a little agreement that we were going to do. Every time Steph Curry went to the free throw line, I was going to send a snap to him of Steph Curry doing his little cockiness every free throw. And I was going to send that to him, and he was going to send one to me if he didn't do it. Well, I was the only one to send snaps that day. I didn't get any from him because Steph Curry does this every single time. He's the cockiest player in the NBA, and that dagger 3 little celebration that he did the other night was bad. And the Cavaliers, I've been told, not been told, but I've read this on different news sites and different sports sites. The Cavaliers are not taking that lightly. They know that he did that, and we're going to see something tonight in Game 4. Whether it be some sort of a fight or something like that, but the Cavaliers are not taking that lightly. Steph Curry, listen here, buddy. You're a great player. You're going to be a Hall of Famer. You're maybe the best shooter of all time, but tone it back just a little bit. The reason why you got to tone it back, you are going to be the face of this NBA, the face of this league for probably the next 10 years. You're going to have little 5-year-old kids looking up to you, and you got to be setting an example. Now, I don't think that NBA players should be role models, but they should set some sort of an example, right?
I agree with that.
I was a very cocky kid when I was growing up, and I got a lot of flack for it, right?
Don't ever play pickup ball with him.
Right. And Steph Curry, I understand that if you make a big 3 at a big-time game, in a big-time moment, do your little point and your little shimmy or whatever you want to do. I get it. I'm not anti-celebration, but I'm anti every celebration every time you make a free throw or a shot. Come on, bro. Just tone it down a little bit. You're obviously a great player. You don't have to prove that you're a great player. We know you're a great player and a great shooter. You don't have to be this cocky. We get it. Let your play speak for itself, and you'll be just fine. So, Steph Curry, get cremated. So,
all I got to say to that is 3-0, baby.
Woo! So, anyway, Steph Curry, Darren Williams, get cremated. All right, guys, that'll do it for our show today. We hope you liked it. We felt like we had a great show today. We were really amped up. We're excited for Game 4 to see what will happen. As always, like the video. Subscribe to our channel for weekly uploads. Also, leave a comment down below if you agree with what we said or if you disagree with what we said. Make sure to share this video with your friends. Like I said, we do weekly podcasts for anything sports, NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, baseball. We cover it all. Weekly podcasts every weekend. Got anything else? Any last thoughts?
Keep the comments up. We're liking all the feedback. Keep it up. We appreciate all the views. And I know it's the NBA Finals, but the last thing I gotta say is don't ever forget the New England Patriots are cheaters. Tom Brady's a cheater and Bill Belichick's a cheater. I'm just giving you your monthly reminder of how much cheaters they are.
All right. For Scotty Beckstrom, I'm Grayson Ball. This has been the Now in the Coffin Podcast. Thanks for watching.